Hey, you guys. So we just finished up a stream here, did a little viewer arena so people watching the stream could play against other people watching the stream. It was a lot of fun. And there was a game that caught my eye. It was a game between a couple of viewers who've been around for a while, Ezra and Robert Zoo. And so we're going to check out that game in detail using Stockfish and Hierarch's program here. So let's go ahead and give this one a close look with both the players of the game also present, who are going to be maybe chatting and sharing some of their questions and comments on the game. One more thing before we get to it is I want to say I'm going to be doing this every like Monday and Thursday night, and so if you have the highlight game of the night, then I'll do this for yours. I'll make a YouTube video and do an in-depth analysis. So tune in. Okay, let's take a look. So let's see what we have here. This game ended in a draw. It was a long match. You guys say hi, YouTube, and then we'll keep going here. So here, and so Dino Rob was the underrated player. I mean the player with the lower rating here of about 1,000 or so. Ezra came in at 1,600, but they both played at about the same level. So they're maybe around 1,500. Playing strength. Let's see what happened here. So F4. If you guys aren't here, it's all good. But I'm just curious, Robert, are you still with us? If not, you'll have to watch this later on a post recording. We got Ezra with us though. Okay, because I'm curious, why on earth did he play this move F4? So he's playing the King's Gambit right off the bat. Not a immensely popular. Oh, I don't know. I like to. Do you guys really not like to know the result ahead of time? I don't really read chess books unless I know the result ahead of time. You also let me know, YouTube people. Would you like to know the result at the start or wait until the end? I like to know. I guess I don't know. I guess it brings up the question of would you like to know the day that you die? Because I'm a kind of person I would like to know, because I feel like I could plan off of that, you know? But other people don't feel the same way. I don't know. Anywho, the game did end in a draw. That's how I study chess, and I will change my mind if people feel like I should do it otherwise. But so here, there, and then here. The King's Gambit, not a very popular opening anymore. It's been kind of shown to be pretty dubious. White does start out with a significant disadvantage right here. Ezra comes in with the G5 move, showing he definitely knows what he is doing right here. Pretty cool. What you don't want to do is something like, knight f6, and then, you go like here, and then before you know it, like you're going to, okay, it's like this, and then maybe here, and then you just let this pawn go, right? Because then you don't retain the pawn, although you may have some good counter chances, I guess, with the move like pawn d5. But the point of going pawn g5 early on is just to show that you're hanging on to the pawn. You give me a pawn, I'm going to hold on to it, and I don't care if I got to wreck my pawn shield to do it. So it's pretty exciting, and especially if you know how to play this as black, you can really gain a big advantage early on. Okay, so the game continues, h4, g4, and then now knight to e5. So not only are we saving these pawns, but they're even going to be pushed down to the fifth rank, fifth from black's perspective, fourth from white's, and attacking this guy. So it really gets off to kind of a swashbuckling start right from the get-go. After here, now the knight is attacking this pawn, and then he goes pawn to f6. Okay, this was a big mistake. So he's playing it out really well, although that g4 move, I think that's fine. No, g4 is the top move here, actually, according to the database. But here, you don't want to go pawn f6. You have a 4-point disadvantage after pawn f6. Instead, what should black play here? There are like 2 or 3 acceptable moves. If you were thinking, perhaps, knight to f6, you would be correct. That's a top move chosen right here. You can even play the move d6, which according to theory isn't as good, but according to Stockfish is very good. and perhaps even better than knight f6. But when you go here, now this king is going to be really opened up and weakened quite a bit there, right? So now there's potential for the queen to come down here and say checkmate, right? Well, after pawn to f6, now knight takes, and this is looking, oh, it's a mouse slip. Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. It happens, and then you're recovered, which is great, you know? It's easy to become flustered and then kind of give up hope or whatever, you know? Yeah, d6 looks nice there too. So d5, solid move, I like it, pawn d5. So white here actually, rather than take with the knight, should just let the knight go and play here. After which now, if takes, this is a disaster for black immediately. After here, this move, and then here, and then we don't want no rook. You can keep your stinking rook. We're going for the king. Bishop right here, check. This comes up, here takes, queen takes, just trying to hang on, right? If you go this way, then it's going to be mate in a few moves. Here, you have like this check, and then it's going to go here. This check is a forced mate, there, and then here, blocking the check, here, checkmate. Holy guacamole. That's a beauty. So, you know, a lot of moves to see it, but, you know, if you kind of just have a general impression of what's happening here, you may be able to deduce that, in fact, it is very worthwhile to let go of this knight, you know, and pursue this attack. Well, in the game here, after knight takes g4, then we're going to go d5, good move, here, and then now things are back to equal. So Dino Rob messed up with this move right here, and in this craziness of all this stuff happening, it would actually be best to just develop, just pawn d4, just forget everything. I know this knight's on g4, you can take this guy, maybe there's stuff happening over here, and just say forget all of that, pawn d4, just control the center, get out your pieces. You know, that was actually the best bet here, according to the engine. After here, things are now back to equal if black plays the move queen to e7. Instead, though, queen takes d5, and, you know, white's got like a decent advantage. If instead they had gone with the move queen to e7, the point here is that you're harping on this weakness of the knight being kind of a tough piece to hold on to, since essentially the king now has to go here. The bishop can't block, right? Because now the bishop here would get a take, right? And it can't take back because it's pinned. If instead the queen blocks, well, then you can just go here. You take, right? And this queen cannot take here due to the pin. So then if you take this way, then there's nothing that can take g4. What you don't want to do is you don't want to just take on e2 trying to like remove the defender, because then a new defender would come in if you take this way then here. So quite a bit of tactics going on. It's a very swashbuckling, interesting tactical opening, and you know, certainly a delight for both sides who wish to you know, embark on a less theoretical tactical shootout early on. So queen here to e6. Now the game is still in white's favor after they move bishop to e2, and the trick is this knight is just kind of in an awkward spot now, so you want to hang on to it. After there and then there, takes, knight here to c6. Now things are about equal. White's a little bit of a favorite here, up by the value of about one pawn, but the game could still go either way for sure. After castles, now it's definitely about equal. Knight d4, aiming to attack this bishop and attack the pawn and everything. Bishop comes on over yonder, and this is going to be a big mistake. Again, this loose knight. Gotta watch out for this guy. This guy's been the source of a lot of tactics and missed ideas and all that good stuff for several moves now. This loose knight is a huge deal. Going back to what I was saying earlier, right? Like if we go all the way back to when I said d4, right? This caught my eye, and I said we just ignore the funkiness of this and these pawns and everything, and just go here and just, you know, develop a pawn. Well, you know, you want to juggle that. Sometimes you want to develop. Sometimes you want to, you know, control, you know, tactical weaknesses and everything in between. You know, you're never going to be perfect at chess. There's always moments where you can improve. As we are seeing in this game, and as we saw in my tournament I had last weekend. Oh my goodness, lots and lots of mistakes there too. Okay, rook takes f4. Okay, so good move here, but now black is still up a ton didn't play good this game. Well, this is the one we voted for. It was unanimous. It was me, and I think it was just me. I think it was a one-person vote, but nobody else submitted games, and so we're doing it. I liked the game. I thought it was a good one. And then here. All right. So there's a fork happening, and so it seems as though you can't really, defend both the pieces. And so he chooses to go f5, holding on to the bishop, letting go of the knight. However, if instead you had gone with this move here, bishop to c5, then you actually have a decent chance at holding on to both, since the bishop is now taboo. Since then, if the knight goes here, you win the rook, since it's check, right? But even better yet would be instead to go here, knight this way. When after here, we don't need a fancy discovered check. We're just going to do a pin. Kapow. So, despite what things may seem at first glance, that it's a fork and that all hope is lost, just have a closer look at it, see if you can find a way out of it. So after we're here, rook takes d4. This guy comes over. Wait a second. This move. Bishop c5. You can still do the pin here. You go this way. Wait a second. Now I'm curious. Why then does this make such a huge difference? If the whole point is to do the pin, why does it matter if you have the knight here or not? I don't get that. No, I'm not sure. Hold up. This makes a 4.5 point difference. What am I missing? So if you go here, then, like you did in the game, it's dead equal. If you go here, you're up the value of a rook. In either case, you're depending on this bishop pin to recoup the value of that rook there. So why does it make a 5 point difference to have the knight here? What am I missing there? This comes here, you go like this. Right, you get your piece out. Right, I like it. But that sounds like the kind of thing that would be worth half a pawn, right? I am confused. I generally do not know the answer to this question. I like your guys' answers, but we're talking about a nearly the value of a rook, 4.6. Hey, you guys, by the way. Why would that be worth 4.6? When you go this way, there takes, and then this move, knight b5, and then, okay, like takes, and then castles. And this seems kind of ho-hum. All right. And then instead, if you have, I don't know the answer to this question. I'm trying to figure this out myself. If instead you have the knight here, and then this, and then there, and then knight b5, you could still kind of go ho-hum about it and just go here, right? But then, and then like this, and it's still better than it was before. But now the best option is to go this way. What am I missing? Why does that make such a huge difference? What am I missing? 5 points. Even so, now you can even go like this. So we're saying I'll let you defend this to where I don't even get the whole rook necessarily. Here, there. Okay, so then you get this little like skewer situation. I think that knight can fork there before a rook moved. Right. You can go to like c7. Yep, good contribution. So you're noticing that after like knight to b5, it's also aiming to go into like c7, right? Yeah. But since it's black's turn to move and they just go right here, now you don't necessarily get the chance to do that. But you could go here check. That's also like possibly an even better move. So I'm glad you brought that up. It's not necessarily a fork, but that was the idea, to do a fork. So then here, king e7, up the value of a rook. I mean, I guess just that one tempo, tactically for whatever reason, is just insane. I got it. I figured it out. That's why. I knew I could do it. if I just put my mind to it and didn't give up. That's what it was. Okay. The difference is the knight specifically can go to f5.
Oh my gosh, thanks.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yay.
Thank you very much.
So that's what it is. Okay, you go this way. All right. Cool. So that's what it is. You increase the pressure here. So then like this, and then this, and then this rook is just pretty much doomed. You go like this, there, and then this. Neato burrito. All right, let's keep on going. Cool, yeah. All right, so after right here, rook takes d4, then here. So Ezra did not notice this pin right here, but he was excited from getting into the JV. It's all good. Congrats again on getting to the junior varsity soccer league, right? Congrats. I bet you're wiped out from doing all that. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna probably end this in just like 5 more minutes, but thanks for thanks for sticking around and competing in the tournament and everything. We'll do this again on Thursday. All right, so here, there, this way, and then the game is about even. It's about even. You come back like this, and it remains pretty balanced throughout this. We got this end game here. They're gonna take like this, takes. And I believe this is the first moment I joined in on this game, and this really started to catch my eye because I realized that Ezra has a little bit of activity for the pawn, but not much more. Basically he's got even material across the board except for White's got an extra pawn. But then how can Black really leverage this stuff? Well, they really can't. It's just a pretty balanced game here. After Rook comes over this way, this seems really natural. It seems like this is where the Rook wants to go. But actually, the much better square for this Rook is to go along the G file, where it can maybe coordinate with the bishop and the knight and create like a mating net. So, for example, if you go here, and let's just make up some dummy moves for White, we'll go like this, and then here check. This comes here. And one way to proceed is just to go for the draw and just accept the fact that you're down a pawn. Your advantage, with development is only temporary. You might as well just take a draw. That's one way to do it here. Another thing you could do is, let's say, maybe you support this. Let's say you go here. This comes there. What are some made-up moves? Like, can you get anything going with this if they just go here? Not quite. You can try to get this going, but they can still defend it like this. But you can kind of catch my drift. Like, there's maybe some potential for a mating net happening here. Knight to f4, now you would have an advantage. And again, my point here is that the rook belonged along the g file, so it could coordinate with those other guys. In the game, he goes rook to e8, so center file is not always the file that you want to go onto. And then after right here, bishop to g5 check. A great find by Dino Rob. And after right there, it's check. He's got the bishop out. His rook's ready to come in, so a great move there. White actually has a near winning advantage at this point. Rook to f1. Now the rook scurries on back to f8. No, the rook needs to stay active and go here. Rook to e5. After this, now we're going to go here. There was a better move here for White. And we want to take a stab at it. What do you think the better move here for White would be? There's one move that's significantly better than all the rest. What do you think that move might be? For context, the second best move would be bishop to d2. It is a knight move, yep. Don't hold back. If you see the right answer, go for it. Knight e4, you nailed it. Nice job, Nakruba. So after right here, knight to e4, taking advantage of the fact that there's this pin, right? And it seems like, well, wait a second, isn't that just a free piece? Because can't you just go like this? And then the rook just takes, and we go, wait a second, well, why do we do that? Well, because it wasn't actually the pin at all. What matters is that the knight couldn't be taken. I mean, the knight can now be taken because the pawn is moved. So it wasn't really the idea necessarily of using what seems like a pin, but rather kind of overloading the pawn a little bit. And so it just works out such that, yeah, I mean, sure, like this night must be better than this one, right? This one's neat. This is like your average knight, like that just went from B1 to C3. This one's like up in your grill, like it's going to checkmate you, within the minute, like this one's got to be, worse than this one. So just a general principle, like trade good pieces for bad pieces. Now to see that tactically works out is another matter too, but good find there. Nice. Hey, yes. Okay, the arena thing worked for you. Awesome. Very cool. And we'll do this again on Thursday, so you can play one there too as well. A3, kind of a tepid, passive, waiting move there. Oh yeah, thanks. Husker style. So after here, pawn to A3, just kind of a tepid, I don't know what to do. Let's do this time pressure, kind of a jam thing. So we've all been there, and this certainly is acceptable. I mean, this is perfectly fine, but always try to strive to like make the best move you can, right? That's this one. Okay, so after right here, now bishop comes on over this way, and then now again knight to E4 is the way to go. But instead takes here, and then after takes, white still has a significant advantage. Black should be basically happy with a draw here, but he's fighting, and he's trying to get more going here. After right this, he now has the advantage of a full rook after this move. But does he find it? No, because he's Dino Rob. No, because we're all human and we all make mistakes. But he went here. What he should have done was go here with this pin, in which case Ezra is in some serious hot water. Well, after there, instead what he should have done, again, is move the rook. So you don't need two things defending F5, right? What you need is to optimize your pieces holistically. And so how you do that here is you move this rook. You go this way to G8. And so now you kind of formulate a little bit of that mating net again, and you kind of exert some pressure down over this way. So after, instead here, king to E6, dropping the ball with this move. Not the kind of mistake we see from Ezra often, but it happened here, as it does to all of us at some point for sure. Knight to B5, and then this is a trick. This is a neat little trick right here. He goes like this, C6, and then he's attacking the knight, right? And then it's like, oh, well, now you get this knight trapped. But this is a trick, because now the knight's trapped. And so after here, now you go this way, you're attacking the knight, and so Dino Rob fell for the trick. So there's a lot of back and forth here. I thought this was a great game to look at. After here, what he should have done is not take here, but go rook to E2. Well, after right here, he's got one pawn for it, and he's going to get another pawn. But what's more is he can also get this little counterattack going, where he did find that potential for the pin. And so now we have a balanced game. It's within a half a pawn, but just within Black's direction right now. The evaluation says 0.26. So it's a quarter of a pawn in Black's favor. This is an interesting endgame, and it's considered very balanced still. This could still go either way. After right here, Dino Rob's got to play G3. Does he find it? Yes, he does. Undermining the defense of this knight here on E3, right? King E5. Great move by Ezra here. Not taking this trap knight just yet. The knight's trapped. It's not going anywhere. Let's wait a little bit. We'll go here. After there takes. Now, since we are going to be losing this knight, might as well grab a pawn for it. And what a position we have. So, once again, Black still kind of has the makings of a possible like mating net situation happening over here between the king, the knight, maybe later the pawn, and the rook. Meanwhile, White is going to be trying to launch these pawns and get like a pass pawn going. A lot of stuff happening here. Rook F2, by the way, fantastic move. White is completely losing without this move. What else are they going to do? Let's say they go, oh, maybe now's a good time to advance a pawn. No. King F3. What you going to do? Rook here? Okay. King here. Now what you going to do? You're going to take this? Okay, then I'm going to take you right back, right? If you go like this way, then Rook G8. Say hello to my little friend. Checkmate. The rook, the knight, and this guy here, it's now a forced mate in 4 moves. White's best move would be to go like this, and then there. But let's say he doesn't see the danger just yet, and he goes, well, maybe I'll make a little escape square this way. Not going to happen. You can forget about it. Here, mate. Here, then we do check. Here, mate. See, mating net happening. So, Dino Rob pulls through, finds the only saving move to keep himself in the game. Rook to f2 check, kicking away the king, and now he's going to go on over this way, rook to f7. As it turns out, this would have been a good time to shuffle a little bit and just basically offer a draw after rook to e2. He goes this way. Both players are striving for that win. After knight takes right here, now rook takes h7, and then things start to shift to where it seems like white's going to be able to promote a pawn and get the advantage, which he almost does. Black's last move, this move here, big mistake. Big mistake. Now he's got the move rook to e7, and then he's going to be able to push this pawn. What he should have done instead to hold a draw was to go this way, here, and then get these guys coordinated, keep the king in check. Well, after here, there check, this comes there. Now, can he take the rook? And would it be a good move? He goes with the move h5. Was h5 the best move, or should he have taken this guy right now? It makes a tremendous difference. Tremendous, I tell you. Oh, whoops. Did my stream disconnect? Are you guys with me? I got a little pop-up that says stream disconnected. Well, on that note, I guess I should wrap this up here soon. After right here, then yeah, it would be best, in fact, to go ahead and take this guy and allow for this fork. After which, king comes this way, here takes, and now the pawn and the king can kind of dodge and weave around this king here, as it turns out, since in conjunction with the pawn being promoted this way, you can also get this guy running on the side of the board when now white is up the value of a ton of stuff here. I think I just reconnected. Welcome back, you guys. So after pawn to a4, now we got a runner on the left side and the right side of the board, sort of like a tennis match where you like hit the ball all the way to the left side of the court, make them run all the way across, and as soon as it comes back, then you hit it back to the other side. Now they got to run all the way to the other side. So that's what's happening here, like left and right side of the tennis court. After this, then it would be like king here, and this just completely won now for white. There, this comes this way, and now you go here, and now you're just winning in 18 moves according to an endgame database. All right, let's wrap this one up and call it a wrap. So we'll finish at that half-hour mark. In the game, he makes the wrong call and just pushes the pawn straight away. Again, that was not correct. He should have walked into the fork and taken the rook. And then after this, now things turn around, and Ezra is able to score a draw here in a minute by getting that last pawn, actually. But then it works out even better because now, after losing that pawn, black has a winning advantage. But both players were down to about like 20 seconds, so they blitzed out a bunch more moves, and then in the end, it was Ezra who ended up running out of time in a position where the opponent has insufficient material to mate, and hence the game was declared a draw. What do you guys think? Did you like the match? You learned some stuff? Have some fun? Feel inspired? Oh man, I think my connection died. But this was tons of fun recording this, and I will... Hey, cool. Thanks. Oh man, this computer program, it's super hard on my stuff. I don't know if that was my Wi-Fi or what happened, but hey, appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. So, ciao. Oh wait, hold on. How many do we have? Because I might do a raid.